Are you ready?
Yep.
What up? What up? Good morning, people.
This is the Vagina Broadcast Show.
Tippin.
Timpin Salone.
How you doing, brother Jabisky?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Man, doing pretty good. Can't complain. You know, just always blessed to be in the presence of greatness. You already know.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, my fault. My fault. Hey, run that back.
I was like, all right.
My fault. I have a question for you. You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Do you think it's wrong to have preferences in dating, or do you think that certain preferences are realistic or unrealistic, or what's your take on the modern dating scene?
I see like two sides to it.
Be careful, player. Be careful.
Yeah. I would say I think going in you don't want to have like anything out of the ordinary. You don't want to, I guess, have things that are. I think you kind of want to be more open and seeing like once you meet the person, like where it goes from there. But I would say like there's certain preferences you might have as far as like if the person's religious, that might be like play like a big part into who you want to date and for like long term situations and different things like that. So I would say there's certain situations where there's right to have preferences, but I would say overall you want to have an open mindset where you want to meet the person first to get to know them rather than having things beforehand. There's like certain things that like the general things that you might have, but I would say keeping it open mind. What do you think?
Um, I agree with everything you said there, brother. You know, I'm piggyback off your answer. I think that the best way I can say it is whatever outcome you choose to want in life. I think that trying to set yourself up for that outcome is the best mode of transportation. So I think that just moving with intention. I think that solves a lot of the problems in the world. But do you think that people's preferences kind of prevent the outcome that they say they want in life?
I think it depends on what the specific preferences are. I think as long as, like you're saying, you move it with intention, as long as you're being upfront and honest with the person, I think that's all you can ask for, and you can make your decision from there. Uh, but I would say you just don't want to, I guess, eliminate certain people before like getting to know them. At least, I guess, having that mindset. But there's certain like fundamental things I think that could be good preferences, but I think overall you want to still keep an open mind.
You think that marriage is becoming obsolete?
Um, I don't.
That's a
I
yes.
would say. I don't know. No, I see marriage still being good and working in today's age. I think it's definitely you see like it's harder for people, and I think especially as time continues on, we see more divorce rates going up. So I think it's really just getting down to the fundamental things that you have in your relationship and what you build off of. What's going to be your foundation? Are you going to be with that person during the good times and the bad times? So I think a lot of times when the bad times happen, even though like you in marriage you agree in your vows the good and bad, but when the bad happens, are you actually gonna continue to build and really stick through things? So I think that's one thing I think in the modern era, like you have to question, you really have to bring up, okay, if something bad happens or if we have a negative time, how are we going to build off that? Because I think that's where you really can see how your foundation is built and how if you lean on it, you can get through all those tough times. So I think there's definitely we see a lot of negative. We see a lot of what was I gonna say? We see a lot of you can see in the news and different things like that. Social media, a lot of things about marriage, a lot of positive and negative. I think as long as you have a foundation and really stick with each other through the good and the bad, I think that's gonna help you and really help you stick out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that something that the pandemic taught me is that family is everything. When you kind of strip everything down and just kind of look at life from just a pure perspective, family is just the building blocks of success. So I think that just going back to what I said before, just moving with attention and just being pure with your this intention and just moving with a certain level of purpose is I think the best way to move. But I think marriage is always trying to understand your reason why for what you're doing it. I think, if you're getting married for a certain purpose because you think that's going to benefit you, cool. I think that, one shoe doesn't fit, everybody, but I think that, family is everything. I'll say that. So, yeah. Mr. Jabrissi, can I ask you a question?
Yep, go ahead.
What you know about love?
Uh, that was the most random question. I did not expect that.
Talk to the people. What you know about love?
Uh, I mean, it's complicated. I can tell you that. I would say overall, with love, especially like with, I'm gonna flip a switch here. I guess with family, it's gonna be very important with family just to have that love and support. I'd say like you want to find that in the future, especially when you want to, especially with marriage, you want to settle down. Just having that love and support, I'd say is important. But I would say for me, it's a growing situation, something that I'm looking forward to experiencing. Uh, but I would say, yeah, it's very important to have love in relationships, both with a significant other and family members. What would you say?
I think I'm still trying to figure it out. I think it's as you said, very complicated. I think that as I mature and get kind of more experience in life, I'm realizing that love is understanding, love is patience, love is forgiveness, love is just maturity. And I think that it's the purest thing in the world because it can't be manipulated. And you kind of see stuff nowadays. Everything's kind of you know unauthentic, disingenuous. And I think that's kind of like the purest thing in the world. And I think that, that's what, the purpose of life is, family and just love.
Mhm. Do you think there's enough love in the world today with all that's going on in society?
I mean, I think that I try not to focus on what's not there. Well, let me take that back. I try to be the change that I want to see, so what isn't there, I try to put there, you know. So I think that in every stage of society, I think you're going to have, I guess you could say hate, and I think you can have love. And I think that, I try not to focus on what isn't there and just try to be a solution. I try to be more solution oriented. So I try to be, create what I don't see and be what, I want to be. But how about yourself?
Yeah, I'd say, like you were saying, it's good to start with yourself and what you put out there. So I think it's good for yourself. You want to be a loving person to your friends and family, all the people that you meet. You want to be open and kind. So I think that's where you can start off with. And then once you do that, you can spread to other people because we're not going to be able to control everything. The only thing we can control is ourselves and our settings. So I think as long as you do that, I think you can leave a good positive outlook.
You think that if it was more love in the world, it would cure a lot of the problems that are going on today?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of times, we're kind of in our own zones. We're kind of in our own head, and kind of leading off self ambitions. We got to always think about other people too. So I think if you think about how other people want to be treated and how you want to be loved as well, I think that could solve a lot of problems. So I think a lot of times we're not, we're just in it for ourselves. So I think we got to just think of other people and anything that we do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that as you get older, of course, people get more money, people get more, materialistic things. Don't get me wrong. Of course, you need money to take care of your responsibilities and, of course, enjoy yourself. But I think that, at the root of everything is just, love and family. And I think those are the two core principles that kind of, you know, bring joy, And I think that, if you see today, it's kind of like a false sense of happiness today. And I think that if you look at everybody that's genuinely happily, meaning that, they're genuinely good with their situation and their circumstances, at the root of it is usually family and love. So I think that, you know, just put more of that in the world, and I think the world will be a better place.
So let's move on to our next topic. This month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we figured it would be good just to have a topic about that. So the first question within this topic would be, what would you say is the importance of taking care of your mental health?
Say, it's a good question. I'm not really an expert on mental health, but I think that it's always important to take care of yourself and making sure that you're always operating at optimal efficiency. especially with everything that's going on today and stuff like that. I think it's more important than ever than just to talk to a therapist, talk to a friend, just to make sure that you kind of smooth and you grooving on all cylinders. But I think that you know, just therapy. I'll say that. What about you?
Yeah, I would say yeah, it's very important to take care of your mental health, just like it's important to take care of your physical health. It's also good with the mental, just making sure you're always checking in on yourself, because everybody's going to be going through something in life, because there's going to be ups and downs all the time. So, really just making sure you're always checking in on yourself, and if you do realize that you're struggling or something's going on with yourself mentally, just making sure you're always have somebody to talk to, and if you do need therapy, there's nothing wrong with that. And just making sure you're always staying in tune with yourself. I think that's very important.
You think social media kind of ruins your mental health?
I think it can. I think, especially if you're on too long, if you compare yourself to other people, I think that can affect some people mentally. So um, I think what we said before in previous episodes, making sure you use social media wisely and making sure you always check in to see. Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't say, "Oh, just because this person's doing well, doesn't mean that they didn't go through anything in life." So I think making sure you're always staying in tune with yourself and not really comparing yourself to other people, not letting it affect you in a negative way. So I think always it's good to check in on yourself and not be on social media too long and not really just focusing in on comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah, just gotta learn how to uninstall the app. Take breaks. Go live life. Go hug a tree or something. Just go for a walk. I think that just it's a beautiful world that we live in. Despite everything that's going on, but I think that sometimes we got to get back to the basics. Just family and just being calling each other and just back to the basics. I think those traditions are kind of lost in our society. You think that because of the fact that, and I don't have the numbers here, but do you think the fact that kind of our generation is not getting together as far as previous generations, do you think that contributes to kind of like the lack of mental health, or you think there's a correlation?
I think it could play a part. Yeah, I think the main thing, as long as you want to have somebody you can talk to. I know, like especially like back with the pandemic 2 or 3 years ago, it was kind of hard because you weren't able to really connect with people, see people face to face. So I think that's what's really caused the rise of people dealing with the different mental health and illnesses and different issues like that. So I think really just being able to I guess now some things are a lot more open, being able to be with people. I think a lot of times, I think we saw with the pandemic, we underestimated just being able to connect and be with people, family or friends. So I think really just being able to do that, and also just having somebody you can really, even if it's someone on the phone, just talking to somebody that you feel like you won't be judged, someone that you can really be open and honest with. I think that can be something that's really helpful.
In a couple of years, it's going to be the AI technology we're going to be talking to
Yeah.
nowadays. So,